The fork was halfway to my mouth when my wife dropped the bomb. We were sitting at her parents' dining table on a regular Tuesday evening, something we'd done probably 100 times over the years. Her mother had just brought out dessert, homemade apple pie, and her father was in the middle of some long story about his golf game that nobody was really listening to. Then she just said it casual as anything. "You already knew I'd choose him if he ever asked me." Not whispered, not mumbled, just stated it like she was commenting on the weather forecast. Her mother's hand stopped moving with the pie server in midair. Her father's sentence died halfway through. I could actually hear the wall clock ticking in the silence that followed, and she was smiling. Not apologetically, not embarrassed, just the small, satisfied smile like she'd been waiting to say it. I looked directly at her for maybe 3 full seconds, long enough to understand this wasn't some slip of the tongue. This wasn't her being careless or having too much wine. This was deliberate and intentional. I set my fork down carefully, picked up my napkin, wiped my mouth properly. "Thank you for dinner, Mrs. Hartwell." "Mr. Hartwell, the pot roast was really excellent." I stood up and pushed my chair in. The legs scraped loudly against the hardwood floor, way too loud in that thick silence. Her father opened his mouth like he wanted to say something, then closed it again without making a sound. "Wait, where are you going?" She wasn't smiling anymore, just confused like I'd somehow missed my cue in whatever performance she was directing. I didn't bother answering her, just walked straight to the front door and grabbed my jacket from the coat rack by the entrance. "Are you seriously leaving?" Her voice followed me sharper now, like I was overreacting to some harmless joke. I opened the door and felt the cold November air hit my face. "It wasn't a joke," I said without bothering to turn around. And then I walked out and got in my car. The drive home took 20 minutes. I didn't speed, didn't pound my fists on the steering wheel, didn't do any of the dramatic stuff people do in movies, just drove normally and carefully. But my brain was working differently now, clearer somehow, like someone had finally turned on a bright light in a room that had been dark for months, and I could suddenly see all the furniture I'd been constantly tripping over. The late nights at her office, the phone always positioned face down on whatever surface she set it on. The way she'd started dressing up more carefully for work, but somehow coming home looking tired and different, satisfied in a way that had nothing to do with work accomplishments. I'd noticed every single one of these things. Of course, I had. But I'd made the active choice to trust her, to believe whatever explanations she offered. That choice ended tonight at her parents' dining table. I pulled into our driveway and looked at our house. White panels, blue shutters, small front porch that I'd actually built myself last summer with my own hands. Inside, everything looked exactly the same as always. Her shoes lined up by the door, her jacket hanging on the coat rack, framed photos of us on the walls from various trips and occasions. I walked through to the garage and found the cardboard boxes I'd saved from our last move. Started carrying them upstairs one at a time. I started with her closet, pulled dresses off their hangers, folded each one properly, packed them into boxes. I wasn't angry, wasn't throwing her belongings around, just systematic and methodical about it. Shoes, jewelry boxes, that expensive perfume her sister had given her last Christmas. Then the bathroom, all her makeup, hair products, styling tools, that purple toothbrush she'd specifically insisted on buying instead of any normal color. I worked steadily for what must have been an hour, maybe 2. Lost complete track of time. My phone started buzzing. Text from her. Asking where I went. Another one saying this was ridiculous. Then one saying we needed to talk about this like reasonable adults. I turned the phone face down on the counter and kept packing. Her nightstand items, books she'd been meaning to read, that journal she never actually wrote in but kept anyway because it looked nice. All her charger cables downstairs to the kitchen for things that were specifically hers. That expensive blender. She'd used it exactly twice. Coffee mugs from places we'd visited together. By midnight, I had 8 boxes stacked neatly by the front door. Everything that was obviously and clearly hers. I sat down on the couch and looked at my phone. 17 missed calls, 12 text messages. The most recent one said she was coming home and we were going to talk about this like adults, whether I liked it or not. I looked at those 8 boxes sitting by the front door. Then I stood up, walked back to the garage, and found the lockbox where we kept all our important papers and documents. Inside was the spare house key and the business card for the locksmith who'd helped us when we first moved in. I called the emergency 24-hour number printed on it. Guy answered on the third ring, voice groggy with sleep. I need locks changed tonight. I'll pay you double your normal rate. He showed up in 40 minutes. While he worked on changing all the locks, I carried those 8 boxes outside one by one and set them on the porch. Neat and organized, everything completely visible. The locksmith handed me the new keys when he finished. Domestic situation, something like that. I've seen it before plenty of times. Good luck, man. He left. I went back inside and locked the door with the brand new key. Then I sat back down on the couch and just waited. Her car pulled into the driveway at 1:30 in the morning. I heard the door slam. Heard footsteps coming up the porch stairs. The key scraped in the lock once, twice, 3 times. What the hell? More desperate scratching and scraping than knocking. Loud knocking. Open the door right now. I didn't move from the couch. I know you're in there. Open this door. Silence from me. Her phone started lighting up where I'd left it on the coffee table. She was calling me from outside. I let it ring until it stopped. This is completely insane. You can't just lock me out of my own house. Our house, she'd called it just last week when talking to her friend Brianna. My house now, actually. Only my name was on the deed. Something her parents had insisted on when we bought the place since I'd put down the entire down payment myself. Just in case, her father had said back then. Guess it really was just in case after all. The knocking got even louder for a while, then suddenly stopped. I heard her talking on the phone outside, muffled voice, then footsteps going down the porch stairs. Car door, engine starting. She left. I sat there alone in the dark living room of the house I'd bought, that I'd fixed up and maintained, that I'd turned into what I thought was a home for both of us. And for the first time in months, maybe even years, I felt like I could actually breathe properly. Woke up on the couch at 6 o'clock in the morning, neck stiff and sore, still wearing yesterday's clothes. For about 5 seconds, I genuinely thought maybe it had all been some terrible dream. Then I saw the empty space where a reading chair used to sit. The gaps on the bookshelf where her stuff had been, not a dream at all. I got up and made coffee, strong and black. The kind that tastes like burnt rubber but gets you moving in the morning. My phone had 32 notifications waiting. I scrolled through them while the coffee machine brewed. Her saying she was staying at her parents' house. Her saying we needed to talk immediately. Her saying I was being childish and ridiculous. Her mother saying, please call her. Let's work this out reasonably. Her father saying, son, let's be reasonable adults here. Her best friend, Brianna, saying, what did you do to her? That last one actually made me laugh out loud. What did I do? I deleted every single message, then blocked her number completely, blocked her parents' numbers, blocked Brianna's number. The coffee finished brewing. I poured a large cup and sat at the kitchen table. 3 years of marriage, 5 years together in total. And it ended with a single sentence at a dinner table. Except it didn't really end there, did it? That was just when I finally started paying attention to what had been happening. I pulled out my laptop and opened my email program. Started looking through old messages carefully. There it was 6 months ago. Working late again tonight. Don't wait up for me. 4 months ago. Girls' night with Brianna and some work friends. Be back late. 2 months ago. Conference this weekend in the city. Probably won't have much cell signal. I'd believed every single one without question. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. I answered without thinking about it. You can't just throw someone out of their home like this. Her voice. She'd borrowed someone else's phone. I didn't throw you out. You left on your own. You changed the locks on me. My house, my locks, my choice. We're married. That's not how any of this works legally. Tell me something. Who is he? Silence on the other end of the line. The guy you'd choose over me. Who is he exactly? More silence. Longer this time. Doesn't matter now, does it? Her voice had changed. Gotten harder. You completely overreacted to nothing. I was just talking casually. You're making this into something it's not. I'm making this into exactly what it is. Which is what exactly? Over. Done. Finished. I hung up and blocked that number, too. The coffee was getting cold. I dumped it in the sink and poured another cup. My friend Darius called around 8 o'clock in the morning. We'd known each other since high school. Worked construction together before I got my current job at the electrical supply company. Dude, Brianna just called. Veronica freaking out. What's going on? Veronica was his wife. Of course, the news was spreading already. She said something stupid at dinner last night. I left and changed the locks. That's the whole story. That's it. What did she say? I told him word for word. He went quiet for a long moment, then said, "Oh, damn, man. Yeah. You need anything at all?" "No, I'm good for now." "You sure about that? Maybe grab a beer later this week. I'll let you know." We hung up. Good friend. Didn't push. Didn't tell me I was wrong or overreacting. Just offered to be there. I spent the rest of that morning documenting absolutely everything I could think of. Screenshots of suspicious text messages. Calendar entries showing all those nights she'd claimed to be busy with work or friends. Credit card statements showing charges at restaurants and places I'd never been to with her. Not planning anything specific yet, just preparing and organizing information. My father always said, measure twice, cut once. Same basic principle applies to everything. Around noon, my phone rang again. Different unknown number. Stop ignoring me like a child. Her voice was sharp and angry now. We need to figure this out like adults. There's nothing to figure out anymore. You can't just end a 3-year marriage over one single comment. Watch me do exactly that. I have legal rights. You can't keep me from my own home. Call a lawyer then if you think that's true. Are you actually serious right now? Completely serious. I hung up and blocked that number immediately. The thing is, I wasn't even angry. Not in the way you'd normally expect someone to be. I wasn't throwing things around or punching walls or doing whatever dramatic stuff people do in movies when they're upset. I just felt clear and focused, like I'd been walking through thick fog for months and someone had finally turned on a powerful fan. All those little moments I'd pushed down and ignored. All those times I'd told myself I was just being paranoid. Or insecure or jealous. Turns out they weren't wrong instincts at all. I wasn't crazy or imagining things. I'd just been actively choosing to ignore what was right in front of me the whole time. Not anymore, though. I made lunch for myself. Simple sandwich, bag of chips, another cup of coffee. Sat at the kitchen table and thought carefully about next steps. She'd come back eventually, try to get inside, probably make a scene. That was completely predictable. I could call a lawyer proactively, start separation paperwork, get ahead of the whole situation, or I could just wait and see. Let her make the first legal move, see exactly how desperate she got. My phone buzzed with a text from Darius. Veronica says her side of the story is wild. Just giving you a heads up. I didn't bother asking what version of the story she was telling people. Didn't matter to me anymore. Another text from him. Beer at McGinty's Tavern at 7 if you want. I typed back. I'll be there. Needed to get out of this house anyway. Too quiet, too full of empty spaces where her things used to be. I took a shower and changed into clean clothes. Looked at myself in the bathroom mirror. Same guy as yesterday, but somehow different, lighter. Funny how much weight you don't even notice you're carrying until you finally put it down. I grabbed my keys and wallet and headed outside. The boxes were still sitting on the porch in the afternoon sun, completely visible to anyone walking by on the street. Let them sit there. Let all the neighbors see. Let everyone in this town know I didn't care anymore who knew what had happened. McGinty's Tavern was busy for a Tuesday evening. Sports playing on multiple televisions. People talking loud over the noise. Darius was already there when I walked in. waved me over from a booth in the back corner. "You look better than I expected," he said when I sat down across from him. "What were you expecting exactly?" "I don't know. More destroyed, I guess." The waitress came by. Julia, woman in her mid-40s who'd worked there forever. "What can I get you boys tonight?" "Whatever's on tap is fine," I said. She brought 2 beers. We drank in silence for a minute. "So, Veronica heard from Brianna. She showed up at Brianna's place crying earlier today saying you went completely crazy and locked her out for absolutely no reason." Darius said finally, "For no reason." "That's the story she's telling." I took a long drink for my beer. She mentioned what she actually said at dinner. "According to Veronica, she's claiming it was just a joke, that you took it completely wrong." A joke right in front of her parents at a family dinner. Just casually joking about picking another guy over her husband. Darius shrugged. "I'm just telling you what Veronica heard from Brianna. We watched the game on the television for a while. Some team I didn't care about was losing badly." My phone buzzed. I pulled it out and checked. Email notification from her parents' lawyer. I opened it right there. Standard legal language, request to discuss property settlement, request for mediation, all that formal stuff. They got a lawyer already. Darius was reading over my shoulder. Her parents' family lawyer. Guy who probably does their taxes and estate planning, too. "You getting one for yourself?" "Maybe. Going to see how this all plays out first." My phone buzzed again with a text from a number I didn't recognize. "The boxes are gone. Someone took them." Her using yet another different phone. I didn't respond at all. Another text came through. "Everything I own was in those boxes." Still didn't respond to that either. "Did you just smile?" Darius asked, looking at my face. "Somebody apparently stole her stuff off the porch." "Seriously, that's what she's saying?" He actually laughed out loud at that. "Man, that's cold. I didn't steal anything, just left them sitting there." We finished our beers and ordered another round. Around 9 that evening, my phone rang. Her father's number. I recognized it from before. I blocked it. I decided to answer. "Mr. Hartwell. Son, we need to have a serious talk about this situation." "Not much to talk about, really. She's my daughter. You can't just do this. She told me at your dinner table she'd choose another man over me. You were sitting right there at the table. You heard it." Silence on his end. Did I somehow hear that wrong? I asked calmly. More silence. That's what I thought. I hung up. Darius was staring at me. "Dude, what? You're ice cold right now." "Nope. Just completely done." We left around 10 o'clock. I drove home carefully and slowly. 2 beers wasn't much, but I didn't need any additional problems. The porch was completely empty when I pulled into my driveway. Boxes gone, just like she'd said. I went inside and locked the door behind me. New locks. Felt solid and good. I sat on the couch and turned on the television. Some late-night talk show I didn't really watch. My phone buzzed again. Her again. "I need to come get my things from inside." "What things?" "You know what things. My clothes, my stuff." That was all in the boxes on the porch. Someone stole those boxes. Not my problem. Are you kidding me right now? I turned my phone completely off and put it face down on the coffee table. Next morning, I woke up to someone pounding hard on my front door. 7 o'clock in the morning. I looked through the window carefully. Her and Brianna and another woman I didn't recognize at all. More aggressive pounding. "Open up. I know you're in there." I made coffee first. "Let them keep knocking. This is harassment. I'm calling the police right now." Her voice was getting shrill and loud. I almost laughed at that. Calling the police because I won't open my own door. The pounding finally stopped. I looked out the window again. They were standing on my front lawn now. All 3 of them talking on phones and gesturing dramatically. 20 minutes later, a police cruiser pulled up to the curb. Now, this was getting interesting. I opened the door before they even knocked. 2 officers, young male officer, older female officer. Morning, officers. We got a call about a domestic situation at this address, the woman said. Her name tag read, Officer Brennan. No situation here. Just someone who doesn't live here anymore wanting to come inside. That's a complete lie. She pushed forward aggressively. I live here. He locked me out illegally. Ma'am, please step back, Officer Brennan said firmly. This is my house. Is your name on the deed? The male officer asked. His name tag said Officer Chen. She hesitated noticeably. We're married. It's our house. Actually, just mine, I said calmly. Bought it before we got married. Only my name on everything. Can we see some identification? Proof of residence? Officer Brennan asked me. I showed them my driver's license, utility bills with my name, and this address. The actual property deed I kept in my home office. Everything checked out perfectly. She legally has no claim to enter. Officer Chen asked me directly. None whatsoever. She never lived here officially as a resident. Mail went to her parents' place. That was actually completely true. Her parents had insisted she keep their address for legal documents and mail. Some tax thing I'd never fully understood. Coming in extremely handy right now, though. Ma'am, I'm sorry, but if your name isn't on any legal documentation and he's the sole property owner, we can't force entry, Officer Brennan explained. This is completely insane. What about my stuff? Did you leave personal property here? Officer Chen asked me directly. I packed what was clearly hers and left it on the porch yesterday. She texted me last night saying someone took it. He's lying about everything. Ma'am, you really need to calm down. Officer Brennan said very firmly. They talked for another 10 minutes out there. Eventually, the officers told her clearly she'd need to pursue this through proper legal channels. They couldn't help with what was essentially a civil property dispute. She just stood there on my front lawn crying loudly. Brianna had her arm around her shoulders trying to comfort her. The officers left. She stood there staring directly at me. This isn't over, she said with real venom. Yeah, actually it is. I closed the door, locked it securely, and went back to my coffee. The story spread incredibly fast through town. Small community where everyone knew someone who knew someone else. By Thursday afternoon, half the people I worked with had heard some version of what happened. I was restocking inventory in the warehouse when my boss Mitchell came by. 50-some guy who'd run the electrical supply company for over 20 years. Got a minute? He asked. We went to his office. He closed the door. Look, I don't do gossip normally, he said. But I'm hearing things around town. You doing okay? I'm fine. Honestly, your wife came by earlier this morning asking for you. That got my full attention immediately. She was here at work. Receptionist didn't let her pass the front desk. She made quite a scene though, crying and saying, you won't talk to her. Won't answer calls. I won't. He nodded slowly. None of my business what happens in your personal life. But if she shows up here again causing problems, I'll have to officially ban her from company property. Understood completely. You need any time off to deal with things? No. Work's actually good for me right now. Keeps me focused. He stood up and shook my hand firmly. Hang in there, man. Good boss. Didn't pry into personal details. Didn't judge. Just offered support and set clear boundaries. I went back to work and focused on moving boxes and updating inventory spreadsheets. Normal routine stuff. Felt better than sitting at home overthinking everything. Around 4 o'clock that afternoon, Darius texted me. Veronica talked to Brienne again. Apparently, there's more to the story. I called him during my break. What did you hear? So, you know how she said she'd choose him if he asked. Pretty hard to forget that. Well, apparently there's a specific him. Guy named Preston who works at her office. That name. I definitely heard it before. Multiple times. The one she had that conference with 2 months ago. That's the one exactly. Something clicked in my brain. That weekend conference in the city. How she came back different afterward, distant and distracted. Veronica says Brianna let it slip. They've been talking for like 6 months. Started as work friends, then got progressively closer. Closer? I repeated. Yeah, Veronica didn't say more than that, but you can probably guess. I could definitely guess. Thanks for telling me. You want me to dig for more information? No, doesn't really matter now. Anyway, we hung up. I went back to work, but it did matter somehow. Not because I wanted her back or anything, just because I wanted to know exactly how blind I'd been. 6 months, half a year of this guy hanging around, and I just smiled and nodded when she talked about her helpful coworker, Preston. Got home around 6 o'clock that evening, parked my truck in the driveway, found an envelope taped to my front door, legal letterhead from her parents' lawyer again. I opened it, standing right there on the porch. Request for formal mediation. Detailed list of claims shared property. Request for spousal support payments. Spousal support. We've been married exactly 3 years. She worked full-time making decent money. And she wanted support from me. I took the letter inside and sat at the kitchen table. Read it again more carefully. They were claiming emotional distress, claiming I'd abandoned her without any valid cause. Claiming she had legal rights to the house despite her name not being on a single document. Creative arguments. Wrong but creative. My phone rang. Unknown number again. I almost didn't answer but changed my mind. Hello. It's me. Her voice was quiet this time, not angry. How'd you get this number? Does it really matter? It does when I keep blocking you. Please just listen for 1 minute. I didn't hang up. Didn't say anything either. Just waited. I messed up badly. I know that. What I said at dinner was incredibly stupid. I didn't mean it the way it sounded at all. Silence from me. Preston and I are just friends. That's all it is. I was trying to make you jealous or something. I don't know. It was really dumb. You done? Are you really not going to give me any chance to explain? You explained pretty clearly at dinner. I told you I didn't mean it like that. Then how exactly did you mean it? She hesitated for several seconds. I was just talking. Girls talk like that sometimes with each other. It doesn't actually mean anything. Girls talk about choosing other men over their husbands directly in front of their in-laws. You're twisting everything I said. I'm literally just repeating what you said. Fine. You know what? Maybe I did mean it then. Maybe I was tired of you taking me for granted constantly. Never doing anything exciting. Just work and home and the same boring routine forever. There it was. Finally, the honest part. So, you found someone more exciting. It's not like that at all. What's it like then? He actually listened to me. He paid attention when I talked about things. He made me feel special and valued. And I didn't do any of that. You stopped trying years ago. I actually laughed out loud. I stopped trying. Okay, sure. It's true. When's the last time you asked me about my day? About what I was working on, about anything other than why I wasn't making more money or why we couldn't take more vacations? Silence from me. That's exactly what I thought, she continued. This is exactly why she stopped mid-sentence. Why you what? Nothing. Say it. Why you what? Cheated. I didn't cheat on you. Just emotionally for 6 months with Preston from work. More silence. Longer this time. Who told you that? Does it matter who? Nothing physical happened. We just talked, right? You just talked for 6 months. Late nights, secret conferences. Private conversations, and then you announced at dinner you'd pick him over me. It's not. Here's the thing, I interrupted. Even if nothing physical happened, you chose him in your head, in your heart, whatever. You made that choice. You literally told me you'd choose him. So, I'm making it easy for you now. What does that mean? It means go be with Preston. See if he's as exciting as you think he is. He doesn't want a relationship. He's not. She stopped again, but too late this time. He doesn't want you, I said quietly. That's what you were about to say. He doesn't want an actual relationship with you. No response at all. So now you want to come back because your exciting guy doesn't actually want you and you're stuck and you're desperately trying to make this my fault somehow. That's not yeah, it is exactly that. I hung up, sat there at the kitchen table with the lawyer's letter in front of me. Then I picked up my phone and started searching for divorce attorneys. Time to stop just reacting and start actually acting. I hired a lawyer Friday morning. Found one through a guy at work whose brother had gone through a messy divorce last year. Her name was Mrs. Kellerman, around 60 years old, sharp and focused, no patience for nonsense or games. She reviewed everything carefully in her downtown office. The property deed, all the bank statements, the complete timeline of events. You're in an extremely strong position here, she said confidently. House is entirely yours. No kids involved, short marriage. She works full-time with decent income. Her parents' lawyers asking for spousal support. She smiled, but not in a friendly way. More like a shark detecting blood in the water. Let them ask for whatever they want. They won't get it. 3-year marriage, both employed full-time, she makes $45,000 a year. Judge will laugh them out of court. What about her claiming emotional distress? Did you physically touch her? No. Threaten her in any way? No. Destroy any of her property? Packed it carefully and left it outside. Someone else stole it. Not my problem. What happens to property not on my land? She wrote extensive notes on a legal pad. I like you. You're practical and straightforward. Makes my job much easier. We spent over an hour going through absolutely everything in detail. She drafted formal response papers, set a clear timeline for separation proceedings. One more thing, she said as I was leaving her office. She's going to escalate significantly. They always do when they realize they're losing. Don't engage with her at all. Don't respond to any texts or calls. Everything goes through me now exclusively. Understood. Work was extremely busy that afternoon. Large order came in that needed to be sorted and loaded by Monday morning. I volunteered for overtime without hesitation. Anything to stay busy and focused. Around 7 that evening, I was in the warehouse working alone when my phone buzzed. Text from Darius. Dude, check your email right now. I pulled up my email on my phone. Message from someone named Addison. Subject line about your wife. I opened it carefully. Hi, I don't know if you remember me. We met briefly at your Christmas party 2 years ago. I work with your wife. I think you should know that she and Preston have been seeing each other since last spring. I'm sorry. I thought you deserved to know the truth. Addison. Last spring. That was 8 months ago, not 6 like Brianna had told Veronica. I texted Darius back. Got it. Thanks. Him back immediately. You okay? Me. Yeah. Not surprised anymore. Just tired. I wasn't surprised at all. Just exhausted. Tired of constantly finding out new details. Tired of realizing exactly how long this had been going on behind my back. 8 months of systematic lying, of late nights and convenient excuses, of me trusting her completely. I finished loading the truck and drove home. She was sitting on my front porch. No, Brianna this time, no other friends, just her alone, wrapped in a jacket with her. Arms crossed. I parked the truck and got out. We need to talk, she said immediately. No, we really don't. Please. I walked past her toward the door. She stood up quickly and followed me. I got the divorce papers today. Good, sign them. I don't want a divorce. I unlocked the door. She grabbed my arm firmly. Don't touch me, I said very quietly and calmly. She let go immediately. Just talk to me for 5 minutes. You had months to talk. You chose to spend that time with Preston instead. How do you? She stopped. Someone told you things. Doesn't matter who told me. It does matter. People are spreading lies about me. 8 months, I said flatly. That's not a lie. That's a documented fact. Her face changed completely. Pure panic. Who told you 8 months? Someone who actually gives a damn about truth. Nothing happened for most of that time. We were just friends at work. Stop lying to me. I'm done with all the lies. I'm not lying. You told me at dinner you'd choose him. You admitted you had feelings for him on the phone. You said he made you feel special. Now you're telling me nothing happened. Emotionally things happened, but physically nothing ever. I don't care about the specific details anymore. I opened my door and started to go inside. Wait, please. Her voice cracked. I messed everything up. I know that. But we can fix this. Go to therapy together. Start over fresh. I don't want to start over with you because of one mistake. 8 months isn't one mistake. It's a deliberate choice you made over and over every single day for 8 months. He meant nothing to me. I was confused. I was stupid. You were something. All right. She grabbed my arm again, much harder this time. Don't just throw away 3 years of marriage like garbage. I pulled my arm free from her grip. You threw it away at dinner when you smiled and told me you'd pick him over me. I just accepted what you said. I was angry that night. You never listened to me. Never paid real attention to me. So, you cheated. I didn't cheat. Emotionally, physically, it doesn't matter anymore. You checked out of this marriage and into whatever you had with him. And now that he doesn't want you, you desperately want back in. She was crying now. Real tears this time. He doesn't matter at all. You matter. We matter. No, we don't. Not anymore. I went inside. She tried to follow me through the door. I blocked it with my body. Please, she whispered desperately. Please don't do this. Sign the papers. Make this easy on both of us. I can't lose you. You already did. You just didn't notice when it happened. I closed the door and locked it securely. She stood outside crying loudly for maybe 20 minutes. Then I heard her car start. Watched through the window as she finally drove away. My phone rang about an hour later. Her father, son, she's at our house right now. She's completely devastated. Okay, that's all you have to say. What do you want me to say, Mr. Hart? Well, she said you two just had a fight about something minor. Ask her about Preston. 8 months of talking, late nights, conferences together. Ask her directly. An affair? She said you two just had a disagreement. Ask her specifically about Preston. 8 months. Ask her right now. Silence on his end. I sat at your dining table and listened to her tell me she'd choose another man over me. You were sitting right there across from me. You heard every word she said. She said that was just a joke. It wasn't a joke. We both know it wasn't. More heavy silence. The divorce papers are already drafted. I continued calmly. She can sign them cooperatively or drag this out through court. Her choice entirely. But I'm completely done. You're making a terrible mistake. No, sir. I'm fixing one. I hung up, sat on my couch, and turned on the television. Some generic cop show. My phone buzzed. Text from Mrs. Kellerman. Her attorney contacted me. They want to negotiate terms. I told them, we're not negotiating anything. Sign the papers or go to court. Your call. I typed back quickly. No negotiations whatsoever. Her response, good. I'll let them know immediately. 3 months later, the divorce was completely final. She fought it hard for a while. Tried to claim rights to the house, tried to get spousal support. Tried everything her parents' expensive lawyer could think of. The judge was not impressed at all. Short marriage, both employed full-time, no kids, no legitimate shared property, clean break. She walked away with nothing but what she'd brought into the marriage, which wasn't much of anything. I kept the house, kept my truck, kept my normal life. Work stayed steady and reliable. Mitchell gave me a raise in February. Not because he felt sorry for me, just said I'd earned it. Been there 5 years. Reliable worker who showed up. I took it gratefully. Darius and Veronica had me over for dinner every few weeks. Never mentioned my ex unless I brought her up first, which I never did. The house felt completely different without her stuff everywhere. Cleaner, simpler. Actually mine. I painted the bedroom a color I actually liked. Got rid of that awful beige she'd insisted on. Went with dark blue instead. Looked much better. Fixed the back fence that had been broken for months. Built new shelves in the garage for my tools. All projects I'd been putting off because she always had other priorities. Her priorities, not ours. Took me a while to see that clearly. I ran into Addison at the grocery store in March. The woman who'd sent me that email about Preston. "Hey," she said nervously. "How are you doing?" "Good, actually. Thanks for the heads up back then. I felt terrible not saying something sooner, but it wasn't really my place until you said it when it mattered. That's what counts." She smiled, looking relieved. For what it's worth, nobody at the office talks to her much anymore after everything came out publicly. What came out about her and Preston? Turns out she wasn't the only one. He'd been doing the exact same thing with at least 2 other women there. Married guy with 3 kids. His wife found out and showed up at the office. Whole situation exploded. I almost felt bad for my ex. Almost. She still worked there. She quit last month. Too awkward, I guess. We talked for a few more minutes about normal things, weather, work, nothing heavy. I got home and put the groceries away. Made myself dinner. Simple chicken and rice. My phone buzzed. Text from a number I didn't recognize. "I hope you're happy now." Her using yet another different number. I stared at it for a full minute, thought about responding, thought about blocking it. Then I just deleted it without blocking. She wasn't worth the energy anymore. April came and weather got warmer. I started running in the mornings. Nothing crazy, just a couple miles. Felt good though. Cleared my head before work. Darius invited me to a barbecue at his place. His brother was visiting from out of state. Ate some cousins, just family and friends. I went, met his cousin Elise there, elementary school teacher, funny and easy to talk to, naturally. We spent most of the afternoon just talking about normal stuff, books we'd read, movies, her students. She laughed at my jokes, even the bad ones. "You're different than Veronica described," she said at one point. What did Veronica say about me? That you'd been through something rough recently, but you were handling it really well. Veronica talks too much. She smiled warmly. Veronica cares about you. That's different. We exchanged phone numbers. Nothing serious or romantic, just friendly. But it felt genuinely nice talking to someone without all the baggage and history and lies attached. 2 weeks later, Elise texted me asking if I wanted to grab coffee sometime. I said yes immediately. We met at this small place downtown, local shop, not some chain. Talked for 2 hours straight about everything and nothing. She didn't ask about my ex-wife. Didn't pry into what had happened. Just let me be whoever I was right now in this moment, not who I'd been before. "You want to do this again sometime?" she asked when we were leaving. "Yeah, I'd really like that." We did dinner the next week, movie the week after that. Nothing rushed or forced, just easy and honest. I didn't tell her I was falling for her. Too soon for that kind of talk, but I genuinely liked being around her. Liked how simple and straightforward it felt. No games, no manipulation, no wondering where I stood. Just honest and real. May rolled around. About a year since everything started falling apart. Couldn't remember the exact date. Didn't matter anymore. I was sitting on my porch one evening, beer in hand, watching the sun go down. My phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer it, but something made me. Hello, it's me. Her voice was smaller now, tired. What do you want? I just wanted to say I'm sorry for everything. For what I did, for what I said at dinner, all of it. I didn't respond at all. I know it's too late. I know you've moved on with your life. I just needed you to know that I know I messed up badly. That it was my fault, not yours. Okay, that's it. Just okay. What do you want me to say? I don't know. Something. There's nothing to say. It's done. We're done. You apologized. I heard it. Now we both move on with our lives. Silence on her end for a while. Are you happy? She asked finally. I'm getting there. Good. You deserve that. So do you. Figure out what you actually want, then go get it without dragging someone else down in the process. I will. I'm trying to. Good luck with that. I hung up calmly, sat there on my porch, finished my beer slowly. Thought about calling Elise, decided to wait until tomorrow. Inside, the house was quiet and clean. Actually, mine. Pictures of us were long gone, replaced with empty wall space. I'd fill it eventually with something that actually mattered, something true and real. My phone buzzed. Text from Elise. Hope you're having a good night. I smiled genuinely and typed back. Getting better, actually. You free this weekend? Her reply came fast. For you. Absolutely. I set my phone down and looked out at the street at the house I'd built into a real home. At the life I was building into something actually worth living. 3 years of marriage down the drain. Could have been worse, honestly. Could have wasted more time, more energy, more of myself on someone who didn't value any of it. But I didn't do that. I walked away when it mattered most. Stood my ground when she tried coming back. Refused to settle for less than I deserved. And now I was genuinely free. Not angry, not bitter, just done with that chapter and ready for whatever comes next. I stood up, grabbed my empty beer bottle, went inside, locked the door securely behind me, and didn't look back even once. This is where the story ends. How was today's story? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments, and where you're watching from. Like, share, and subscribe for more powerful stories.